Good evening, and welcome back to yet another Handmaid's Tale. I'm John Stark from MacTheMovieGuy.com, your favorite blind film critic, and this is Season 6, Episode 5 of The Handmaid's Tale. We're winding down, coming closer and closer to the conclusion of The Handmaid's Tale. And this is a pretty involved episode with not so many cast members in it. Obviously, this is the episode where June and Moira, they were talking about going into Jezebel's, and mainly, because June wanted to save Janine from the incoming raid, and really the girls in general. I mean, Moira understands, as somebody who was there, that the girls are innocent and absolutely would fight back if they could. So their idea is to infiltrate and to get the message to Janine, who can then spread the message to the other girls. But of course their plans are thwarted because all of the commanders show up yet again, including the obnoxious Commander Bell, who Commander Lawrence absolutely just drags in grand fashion for being just an obnoxious douche. And turns out that Lawrence, joke's on him. He's the one that nobody likes. All these other people have been using him, but he's out of step. He's out of touch. These guys, they really want the old school way of life. Lawrence has been trying to reform the methods of Gilead so that he can have these sort of hybrid communities that make it look like to the rest of the world that Gilead is a functioning country. Gilead is not interested in that. Gilead is only interested in one thing: submission. They're only interested in pushing their own incredibly extreme values forcibly pushing them onto groups of people and spreading their seed for their own pleasure. It's jokingly bullshit because they're sitting here talking about this in the VIP suite of a brothel, like somehow they're the righteous ones. But the joke is obviously that they're not, that this is all just selfishness, masquerading as self-righteousness. So Lawrence he saves Janine once again from another encounter with Belle and takes her, because I guess he has seniority over Belle, and takes Janine where they don't have sex, but she recognizes it. He keeps, saving her, and she says something to him about how, you're not a good man, but compared to the or you're a bad man, but compared to them, when she reveals to them that the girls have these little ways of being able to spy on things and see what they're in store for, and there's a little hole in the wall that's hidden within the tapestry, and she reveals it to Commander Lawrence so that he can look in on the other commanders, who, as soon as he's out of the room, take the opportunity to talk shit about him, including what their plans actually are for, once the resettlers have come into New Bethlehem, essentially just taking that over and reabsorbing those people back into Gilead and making them subjects to whatever they were before, and then putting Lawrence on the wall, which is alarming to him because he thought he was in a completely different position, and now it puts everybody at risk, puts him at risk, and also his family. I don't think he cares that much about the wife that he has, which he was only really using to position himself as to look more endearing to Gilead to begin with. But he does have a daughter that I think he cares about. So there's that. And mixed in and around this are June and Moira, who are going all throughout Jezebel, the Jezebels, as Martha's trying to find Janine and tell her what's up, which they do. And she's like, yeah, I mean, everybody would, we're all ready to go. Like, the girls all have shivs made just for the day when we decide to have an uprising. She she gives him a lot of information. She's obviously, completely staked out the place. This is like a new Janine. This is like she's got so much leadership and confidence in her that she's never really had before as a character in this moment. But she is ready to take on this role. And June, is like trying to get Janine to come with them, which of course is a mistake because it would cause alarm if she went missing. And Moira's pissed off because she's the one, who has to remind June that Janine has to stay. Janine's willing to go, but she's not willing to go without the rest of the girls anyway. So it was sort of an empty offer, but Moira and June have a conversation again about how Moira's the bad guy. And Moira's really just tired of June at this point. But, it's just friends fighting, as we see when later on a commander comes into the room, and Janine has left them letters that some of the girls have written, along with like a little rudimentary little rap. She wrote a little rap for them. Yo, my name is Janine, and I'm in Jezebel's. What? That's why I'm on here, not a rap artist. One of just some random, Guardian comes in or something, I don't know. A character that does not matter comes in and June and Moira had their face coverings down, and Martha face coverings down to talk to each other. And he sees that they're there, and I guess he likes what he sees, and he's ready to rape Moira. And then June and he's got the gun to June. I was trying to figure out the logistics of this. It has audio description, but I was like, how is he? So he's got a gun on June. I was like, don't you need that hand? And it sounded like he had like a rifle too, not even like a pistol, but like a gun that's kind of hard to hold with one hand. Anyway, they fight back against him and kill this Guardian, and they're like, what do we do with him? And unfortunately, he puts the letters in the safe, and they don't have the code. And they have to get out pretty quickly because they have to dispose of the body. And as they're disposing of the body, something's noticed that the Guardian has gone missing. And so the facility is about to be put on lockdown. So they have to get out really quickly. And outside has been waiting for them the whole time has been Luke and that other woman who's been part of this experience, who I honestly don't know, are waiting in a truck, pretending that they're waiting for like some delivery or something, and some random Guardian comes up on them and is ready to lay down the law in the middle of this lockdown because they seem suspicious. Luke does seem suspicious because he doesn't know any of the lingo, because he's not really, that's the thing, is that they needed more of these refugees like Moira and June to really be informing people like Luke, who had never been in Gilead, of how people in Gilead speak. Nick needs to be providing and training these people into how to pretend to be soldiers of Gilead if he really wants to help. Because Luke is just like, bro, yeah, we're waiting for empty containers. I was like, you are horrible at lying. June and Moira end up exiting out at the same time. Commander Lawrence is getting in his car to leave, and June takes a risk steps out in front of his car before he leaves with her face down so that he can see it's her. And of course he's like, you've got to be kidding me. You know, I mean, he just heard that they want to put him on the wall, and then the most hated woman in all of Gilead steps out, and she asks for help, and he tells her and Moira to get into the trunk of the car, and then he shuts the lid, and we don't know what's going to happen next. I think, sort of seeing the trajectory, I think Lawrence is still on a redemption tour, but now he's going to be looking more for how can he, you know, if these are really, if the plans for New Bethlehem really are bullshit, and people were using him as a way and using his plans, basically the whole time, he's the architect of Gilead. And you can kind of tell this is not what he wanted. It's not what he planned, because he's been unhappy and an unwitting participant for basically the entire duration of the series, because he actually loved his wife, and his wife obviously did not want to be a part of this, so he just has been pretending and keeping up appearances for the majority of the series, and not really, and behind closed doors, he's just sort of a much more regular guy. I think Lawrence is going to look more for redemption and trying to figure out how he can stop Gilead from doing exactly what they just said they're going to do to New Bethlehem, which is his pet project, and come in there and take it over and just destroy it. You know, take over all of the citizens that are coming in there. And Nick was not a part of the conversation, so obviously Nick doesn't know. There's a suggestion. Nick has a little bit of time because in the episode, one of the guys that he shot in the head survived. And he's told this from his father-in-law. So he goes and he stops by and acts really, you know, concerned, and talks to the guy's, I think it was his mother, actually. He's a young soldier. I think it was his mother. And then he goes in, and the kid's sort of regaining consciousness, and he waits for the kid to regain consciousness, and you can hear the heartbeat monitor is racing, and then when the kid finally speaks, it's something about his missing dog. Like, it's not, like, he doesn't recognize Nick, but Nick doubles back anyway. Like, he leaves, and then he doubles back anyway, so obviously he went back to finish off the kid, or do something so that the kid doesn't wake up again. As far as other characters we touch base with, we did see a little bit more of Serena, and a little bit of her. She has a conversation with Lydia, and Lydia sort of lets her know what's happening to these girls, that they're not being, you know, the ones that bared fruit are not being treated as what, you know, the promise was. Instead, they're being sent to Jezebel's. So the whole thing, everything is bullshit. Lydia is realizing everything's bullshit, and so she's trying to tell Serena, who's maybe the one woman in any sort of position that anybody would listen to her, because apparently nobody wants to listen to Aunt Lydia. She just serves a purpose. So in a world run by men who want nothing except to fuck and have women be submissive, this is the world that they've come up with. So Serena gets flowers from, of course, her paramour, who I swear to God this show is not going to let Serena have happy ending. I mean, I know this dude is like coming in and he seems like he's sweeping her off her feet, but let's be real. I mean, he made a lot of promises there. And there are ways in which he addresses Nick where you're like, does he know something? But then he comes into Serena, and that sounded really bad, but I'm not changing it. And he comes into that situation with the most amount of romantic lead energy that anybody could possibly have. Like, oh, I've never met anything like you. You're amazing. I just want to spend my whole life with you. You know, I mean, like, this is like, if this was like a movie that was a Nancy Meyers movie would be something like, uh, there would be like a score and they'd be like, kiss me down by the it's just, um, so yeah, I mean, he seems like the charming romantic lead anytime he's around Serena, and he is pitching this idea of building a library that's named after Serena and him, of course. Uh, and he's got this life planned, and he's talking about taking his daughter back to DC for something, I don't know. And he said, well, after they come back from DC, he's like, well, I can split my time. We can look for a place in Boston. Because Serena doesn't want to leave. She wants to stay in New Bethlehem and lead it. Basically, the job that she was offered, she wants to do. And she's like, I don't want to stop working. I want to keep doing this thing. And he's like, I don't want you to either. So we'll figure it out. You can pick a house. We can, I mean, he's just offering her the world. And I'm just like, this can't possibly be real. Serena doesn't get to have a happy ending. Serena hasn't had the kind of character arc that leads me to believe that she could have a happy ending, because I don't know what she could do to redeem herself in such a short period of time. She's had all season. Unfortunately, at the beginning of the season, when she had the opportunity with June, she instead decided to have one of her like self-righteous speeches instead, and then June had to literally throw Mama from the train. So she hasn't really had a moment where she's been able to help anybody in a way of any significance, meaningful significance that would lead me to believe that the show is going to end with Serena allowed to be happy. However, Lawrence has helped a lot along the way. He probably absolutely knows what Nick has done and has been up to, and has been protecting Nick, and has been kind of walking a fine line for a while without giving any direct information and fully coming over to the Canadian or American side. And I think the rest of the world doesn't really believe Gilead. And I think if Lawrence was the one to say, I just learned this is all bullshit. I mean, obviously, as an example, there was that scene where the German representative who was there to visit New Bethlehem was just being used to pass a message to Nick. Obviously not really interested in any sort of peace talks with Gilead. Otherwise, I wouldn't have passed the message to Nick. So, from America. So, I think the other countries want to get rid of Gilead, but they just don't know how. And Lawrence has all of the secrets and knows all of the details, and he could be the downfall of Gilead. So it's possible that the show could let Lawrence have his redemption. I don't see it happening for Serena. I think this thing is going to work out not in her favor. This new romance she's got going on, I think he's going to turn into the same thing that she had before, and she's going to end up with a monster. So, he already mentioned that he would like to expand the family and have another baby. Be careful what you wish for, Serena. So, I'm surprised Luke and Moira both made it out of the episode alive, or both are still alive at the end of the episode, I guess is the bigger thing. I think one of them won't make it through to the end of the series, the season, whatever. Yeah, especially because they both seem to want to fight for this cause. Moira would make more sense because she doesn't really have anything at this point like that ties her to anybody. She doesn't have a kid that she's looking after. Obviously Luke, but I could also see Luke dying for Hannah, and then there could be some weird ending where we have June, Nick, Hannah, the other kid, and June's mom all like living together at the end of this thing, and you're just like, what is this weird ending? Like Nick gets the redemption, Luke gets to save Hannah, but he dies in the process or something. I don't know. But yeah, that could happen. So we'll see. We'll see what happens down the line from Handmaid's Tale. But that was this episode. I thought it was interesting. The biggest revelation I thought was interesting was Lawrence stuff, because I actually thought he had the higher standing. I thought he had played the game really well. And Belle is so obnoxious that I was like, there's no way anybody takes him seriously. He seems like the asshole of the room, but then in a room full of assholes, do they know? You know what I'm saying? Like, if everybody is that character, when everybody's Jonah from Veep, does anybody know that they're Jonah from Veep? So, he plays that character really well. Anyway, yeah, so Handmaid's Tale, season 6, episode 5. Yeah, I liked it. I have no reason not to give it an A. I can't think of anything. There wasn't really a downfall to the episode. So I think it offered a whole lot of information and built and continued to move the story forward. There wasn't anything I really disagreed with. Obviously, you can't squeeze everybody in every single episode. And this was the story that made sense. This is where, based off of the last episode, where I thought this series was going to go. So, yeah, I liked it. Audio description was pretty good. I didn't get quite that brilliance, that sequence that I got, like the dancing. I thought that was beautiful in the last episode, but this episode didn't really have any of those moments specifically. Probably the best scene that was audio described was the fight, but even that was confusing for me, because I was like, how is he holding that gun? Because I think it was referred to as a rifle, not a pistol. Like, he doesn't have a handgun. So he's trying to subjugate Moira while holding essentially a two-handed gun with one hand, threateningly at June. It seems like he's just way, like, out of his league in this given situation. And I know, like, even if he fired one bullet, it would be catastrophic for them because other people would hear it. But I don't know. But there were parts of it that were really great about, like wrapping around the phone cord, and it was the most audio description, and a lot of that worked really well. So I guess it was the scene that stood out to me. Yeah. Anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing, and I will see you guys on the other side.